There we are. Good morning, Houston. We are live this morning at Leland House, right outside downtown in what is known as Edo, right?
Yep, we are.
Or East Houston, where I grew up. But I'm Yaneth Martell. We are the Caffeinated Show. Yaneth Martell, I'm your local lender here in the Houston area. I love to give you money to buy your dream home, so call me when you need to do that.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kimberly with North American Title. Thank you for joining us this morning after I'm sure everybody is probably still a little tired.
Right,
And,
just a bit.
Or hungover from White Linen Night.
It was a fun weekend.
It was. We went out to White Linen Night Saturday. It was your first time.
It was my first time, and I brought my family. It was a lot of fun.
We have our special guest with
Yes.
us this morning, Byron Kidder Jr., and we're going to get into all his greatness in just a couple of minutes. So we want to discuss kind of our weekend and see what we did this weekend. Besides White Linen Night.
I didn't do White Linen.
You did not.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
avoided
said you decided to stay out. I'm going to do some little housekeeping
Yes,
here.
I want you to log in there, and I'm actually going to.
There we go.
There we go, so we can see ourselves. There, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Actually, my weekend was quiet and relaxing, and I wanted it that way. So
Which is
I
nice.
avoided White Linen, but I heard it was a little crazy.
Yeah.
It was, I kind of stayed away from the big crowd. I just we went to my husband's boss's house for drinks, and then we kind of walked around a little bit, but we did not venture into the big
The crazy.
massive
Yeah.
crowd.
A lot of people were telling me as they were walking back that it's just way too crowded in there. And I guess if you have a private event or get invited to a private party, it's
Right.
kind of better.
That was fun.
Oh, they have private parties?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there was some private parties. So
I like at Harold's, I think they had some private things going on
Yeah.
up in the top. It looked really nice.
and Renee Rodriguez with Nan and Co. They
That
had
was-
a private
They had
party.
a great party.
Yeah. So did Annabelle. I think they had.
Oh,
some.
I know. I miss seeing you guys, but I saw your beautiful pictures, and everyone looked gorgeous in their white outfits, so that was nice. But you know what we did? After we went to White Linens, we decided we didn't want to go home yet, and it was like, I don't know,
2
kind of
o'clock.
late. No, it was
like 2 o'clock in the morning.
It was like maybe 9:30 or so. But we have been wanting to try this place down the street from our house. And it's called Piggy's. It's right on Dunlavy, right before you get to Allen Parkway. And it is so cute. It's dog friendly, so you can bring your puppies. But what I loved about it was that they had lots of big screens outdoors.
Yeah.
So my kids kind of sat outside, and we got to eat some good food. And everyone was at White Linen,
Yeah.
so it was like nice and relaxed. And then like maybe about 11, people started showing up from White Linen. You could tell because they all look
Everybody's
beautiful
in
with white
white.
dresses.
Everybody looked so pretty though.
They did.
Everybody was nice and dressed up, and the little petty bike guys got a lot of business that night because they were cycling people back and
they
forth.
did.
From
Okay, yeah,
parking
yeah.
miles or several blocks away from the Heights. So
That's
Well,
true.
maybe I'll try it next year.
yeah, you know what? The Caffeinated Show will do a private party.
Right.
We'll just rent a house and just knock it out there. How about that?
That would be fun.
That
Okay,
would be
we're
awesome,
ready.
actually.
Which reminds me, we are very excited about our 1-year anniversary party. It's been 1 year since we began this broadcast, and really it was just an idea of getting together to have coffee and talking real estate, and talking to people that are in the industry and getting good information out. And I can't believe it's been a year.
1 year. So our 1-year anniversary party. And I was going to announce that later, but
Oh, okay.
okay.
Well, I'm
We'll
very
announce it
excited
real
about
quick.
it. We'll
See,
announce
that's like
it
a really
later.
good way to say to people that you just got to get things started. Business,
Yeah.
right? Because when you get it started, then things start to roll and you start to progress, and time goes by and things happen.
That's true.
So that's really a good point. Right?
Yes, well, we were very excited. So we're gonna, we'll just make them wait for that announcement. Until
1-year anniversary
Stay
party coming
tuned,
up. Stay tuned for
listen
the
to
details.
those details.
But again, we had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Weather turned out great. I was afraid Saturday night was going to be a washout.
I
It
know.
rained for a minute and it was gone, so that was great. But the reason why we're here today, especially, is with Byron. Byron and I had the pleasure of meeting a few months ago. You came to our office to speak to all of our marketing reps.
Right.
To kind of motivate us and get us out there and get working. And you wrote this fabulous book. Let me
you.
show it. So Byron is the author of It's All About Everything.
Although the hair has changed a little bit now.
Okay.
We went
This is
gray.
great, though. This is great fun.
Gray is beautiful, right?
So we want to invite you guys to go out there and can they buy it on Amazon?
Amazon,
they can buy it
yeah.
on any place.
It's all about everything, or Byron Kidder, absolutely.
And the awesome thing about it is so easy. It's just 101 common sense rules on being a better person in business and life. And as I was reading this, when you gave us a copy, and it's been on my nightstand, and I pick it up and read another chapter every night. It very much is 101 common sense.
Right.
These are things we all know to do. It's like following a great healthy eating plan, right?
Right.
And if you don't do it, then it's not you're going to see the results.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I always say is that we, as a society, have gotten away from the common sense rules that help us be successful.
Right.
We have so much information out there right now that we try to or do access.
Right.
And so we complicate it with all those strategies and things like that. So
That's true.
when I look back at my career and my life and the things that I did to do what I think became successful is I just used common sense rules. I really kept things simple. And a lot of times, I'm an engineer, so a lot of times people think that engineers are very complicated, but in actuality, we're not. I think we really simplify things to the point where we can be successful in what we do or correct problems that we see. And so that's what I try to do is simplify everything, and I put all this in one book to try and give back. At some point in your life, you, at least most people, we want to try to start to give back. And that's kind of what this book was about, was being able to give back to people and let them know some of the things that I did to be successful. And so we talk about business, we talk about the strategies that I used, and also talk about things in life, simple things like the power of saying thank you. We talked about that earlier, and how we use it so flippantly now that we really, when we say thank you, do we really mean it when we say it?
Right.
And I think if you start to think about that, you can change people's lives and make them really appreciate, what they're doing for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a game changer, I think, whenever you really do have that gratitude in your heart, and you can show that to other people that you work with, that you meet. They can feel that from you, so they're going to be equally invested in what you want to do. I feel anyway. If you're being genuine and you're being grateful. So that's what inspired you to write this book, to really give back.
Well, there's certain things that you want to do in your life, right? And one of them is, for me, was to write a book, to become an author.
Right.
Which 97% of the people who even start books don't finish.
Right.
And so for me, this was a challenge.
That would be Yaneth and I. We start and have not finished.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest accomplishments in my life, right up there with graduating from college in engineering. It took me about 2-3 years to write it.
Right.
And one of the things that you do, you said when you're at church, wherever you are, you write things down.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I started the book.
Okay.
Because I just started to write down all the strategies, or what I call rules, that I thought helped me become successful. And that's the other thing I talk about in the book, is I tell people, don't let anybody else define your success.
Right.
You should define your own success in life.
Very true.
I agree.
And so I just started writing all these rules down, and then when I came up with what I thought was the set of them, then I just started to write about each one and provide examples within each one about how I think that they made me successful.
And I think that's truly, at the end of the day, what I loved about your book is that you can flip on any page, and you can narrow down to any one specific rule that really applies to what you're going through. It's not just a book you read once and then put it away. It's one that you can refer to. It's like a reference book. At least it felt like that to me.
When I came up with all the different rules, I really didn't define the chapters, but the chapters are sales growth, how to improve that, personal improvement in your life, and project management. And then really one of the biggest ones is being fastidious in communication. So I'd say that's one of the easiest differentiators there is in life, is to be faster than other people with good information. In communication is key.
Yes, that's one thing Yaneth and I try to strive for with our clients and with our agents, mainly our realtor family, is and a lot of agents will reach out to us because they know we know somebody that we can connect them with to get resources.
I call that, you mean what I call the go-to person.
Yes, and that's in here, it's in your book.
Yeah, it's in
And we love being that person.
You got to be the go-to person, because you want to be. I call that what I call that is like opportunity selling. Is looking for opportunities outside of your normal job role to help your clients, so that they know, hey, I can call because that particular person, that's my go-to person. And if they don't know, they'll find out, and they'll connect me to somebody that does know. And that's the person that you want to be. I call that getting your seat at the round table. And that's where you want to be, right? You just don't want to be a contractor or somebody. You actually want to be a part of that company, so that you can actually sit at their round table with their employees as the contractor position or the service position, and so that you become a very important part of their team.
Right. And that's so important for us because we've had so much help from others to get where we are, even with our show and other adventures that are going on in our lives. It would not have been possible without the connections, and bringing everybody, like you said, to the table, and then helping each other, for the betterment of everybody, right?
It typically sometimes goes against the grain because a lot of times people just want to do what they're assigned to do.
Right.
And so you really have to understand that if you invest in doing things that are outside your job role to help the client and become what I call more added value for them, then that's where you become that go-to person with them. And it's going to lead to bigger things.
I think so too, and I think that, and I think like for us, it feels like just natural because we just naturally want to help people. We like, I love, really thinking back at the end of the day and saying, how did I help somebody else? And it doesn't always need to be a loan or getting someone into a home. It could be just sharing information, giving your name to someone, or giving your book to someone, or just something that really contributes to a greater thing, a greater purpose than myself. And I think that's when that's why I guess Kim and I connected so well, because we do both have this kind of path that we're on.
I would say, and that kind of a lead into, I tell people all the time that you have to find your passion, because passion will fuel your purpose in life. And when you have passion for things that you want to do, that really, you'll go out of your way to do extra things to make people happier or to find a solution to somebody's problem.
That's true.
Or what I like to call opportunities rather than problems.
Well, that's true.
Opportunities all the time rather than problems. And so find your person, but also tell people everybody has a passion to do something, but you have to find your grit inside to what I call cross your finish line.
And that your passion may not be the passion of others that are maybe in your circle. And
or industry, even
in your industry. So that is still trying to stay true to yourself and follow your passion, even though there may be some negativity that comes in kind of along the way. And Yaneth is a great person for me because she's constantly reminding me, like, remember your passion, remember your
this is y'all's passion.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I tell people it's to embrace change. Sometimes change can be your best friend. And you see so many people doing things that they're really not passionate about. And look, y'all just started this a year has gone by. Some people get into a position, into a job, and maybe 5 years goes by, and they're not happy. But you have to have the courage to be able to step up and find something that you love to do, a passion that you love to do. And it's true. You can always find your passion and what you want to do and make money doing it. It may be a one-off from that exact particular thing, but you can find something that you do in your passion. Look, I was in chemical engineering for 18 years, and I decided to follow my passion, which was originally I went to school to be an architect. And so now I've stopped engineering and chemical engineering, got out of oil and gas to live my passion, which is to build homes and remodel homes and do interiors and things like that. And I started that about 4 years ago.
That's
And
exciting.
I love it. And one of the things that my clients generally always tell me is the reason why I'm hiring you is because of how much passion you have for what you do, that I know you're going to do a really good job.
Your clients need to see that you have that passion. If you just walk in, that's a horrible sales tactic, right? You're walking in, you're trying to sell this product, and your potential client doesn't even feel it from you. Like, how can you sell it if you don't believe in it yourself?
Exactly.
Right? Well, that's true. So your passion is very. And that's what I was going to ask you. So prior to being an author and doing what you do now, you went to school to be an engineer. And chemical engineering.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I know.
So
Completely
opposite.
Sometimes I even surprise myself in chemical engineering.
As we were setting up, his engineer side came out in him.
We are so thankful for you today. You helped us a lot.
Yes.
But it's that, like you. I'll go back to that. I was just going to make a quick point. It's that your eye for detail, which is why your clients, I'm sure, appreciate when you're building a beautiful home for them.
So that's kind of there's two purposes behind the title of the book. It's all about everything, right? So, you'll often hear people say it's all about timing, it's all about marketing, it's all about relationships, it's all about money. I say it's not about one thing, it's all about everything. So that's why I say it's all about everything. And the other thing that really drives it is, when I look back, and this is in the introduction of my book, I talk about how I think what made me different was I saw all the details. I saw everything. I retained it, I learned from it, and I used it. And so people who know me know that I have a really good memory. I remember everything and I remember the details. Then I think that if people can start to pick up on all the details, remember those, and then use them, those are what I call differentiators. Because a lot of times I talk about active listening in the book. It's a role in the book.
Yeah.
One thing is rather than just listening, actually actively listening to what people say.
Right.
And when you do that, you remember the details, right? And then you're able to use those to your advantage and help your clients and service them better.
And
I think it's true.
how many times over the years of growing up where teachers have said, "Oh, you're not listening," or "You're not actively listening"? That's still as an adult, that fools myself sometimes because I'm like, I'm listening to you, but I'm really not listening to you because my mind, like I just told you, at church on Sunday, am I really listening? Because then my mind is like, okay, I gotta prepare for this, and this, for the rest of the week. And so here I am jotting down on another page my to-do list, so I'm not actively listening.
And there's a
to
difference.
what's
If
going on
people
in
know
front
when
of
you're
me.
actively listening,
That's
when you're not
true.
actively listening.
You know what I like to do sometimes, and I used to do this a lot, and I do it now, but it's over the phone. It's a little different. But I was in financial advising before, and I would sit down face to face with my client a lot, and I would always ask them, do you mind if I take some notes? Well,
Always take notes.
So that way, I would just jot down like things like they like flowers or they like XYZ. Then I can go back and I can know my client a little bit better. And now that I'm in a different industry, it's still the same, but a lot of my clients come in online now. And I don't have a lot of that one-on-one interaction like I did before. So now I have to find other ways to figure out how to connect better with them.
Well, so that's a really good point. So I always tell people that FaceTime, being personal with your clients, is directly proportional to your success.
That's true.
So I always try to coach people and tell people that you have to find time to sit down with your clients no matter what. In an age where we have all this communication and social media and ways to communicate, you still have to find time to actually have FaceTime. Because if you're not, your competition, the good ones are. And they're building those relationships, right? And so I always tell people, I always like to say, my clients become my best friends or really close friends. I want them to become my friends. I don't separate business and pleasure. I like for them to become really good friends of mine. And that's going to help you keep that business longer. One of the rules in the book is I talk about, you have to always plant new seeds of growth to maintain, opportunities. Because I define it in the book about how, you plant the seed, the plant grows, the plant, you nurture it, and then it eventually dies. At some point, you're going to lose clients. So you always have to continue to plant new seeds of growth and opportunity with new clients, but maintain that with relationships and define those as great, good, fair, or poor. And so I help coach people. Where do your clients fit? Don't forget about the good and the great, but where you have the fair and the poor, try to build those up. To be
you'll know. Like I was recently asked, when you're building your clientele or the relationship with a potential client, do you want them to become your friend first, or do you? God, I can't remember how it was asked, but it was basically like, do you want to gain their trust first as a partner in the same business, and then friendship will follow? And I said, absolutely. You're not going to be my friend just because you want to be my friend. Like, how can we trust each other in business and in a partnership? And then that relationship will grow into a friendship and so on. And then, because people do business with people they like. It's as simple as that.
That's one of the rules in the book. Is learn to become likable. Because likability is going to help you grow. And so, I always say this, I love saying this, is how many times, and I'll guarantee almost all of us today, when you get up and your feet hit the ground, how many of you think about how you're going to strategize to be more likable today? We don't think about it.
I just always think I'm very likable, and everybody likes me.
You know what? I just like people, so I'm naturally just drawn to different. But I guess I don't wake up and say how
can I be a little more likable today to clients,
Coffee?
family, friends, things like that. Because we take it for granted. It's just something that we get into the normal day-to-day routine and we don't think about it.
I listened to your video about when people ask you, can I be a salesperson? And I loved it because my daughter was listening with me. And it is so true. In the morning, we wake up, we're selling ourselves. To our family, to any interaction you have with any
at the grocery store, at the salon, at the coffee shop, everywhere you go, you're selling yourself. I tell people say, "Can you be in sales?" I've been doing it. I said, "You've been doing it your entire life."
That's true, right? That's true. You don't think about it in that way, so therefore you don't develop even better skills.
We're all salespeople. Can you think about it? And then also, I know we're just kind of bouncing, but I always tell people in there is don't define yourself as a salesperson. Define yourself as a consultant.
Right.
Because you're doing more than just selling. If you're just selling glasses and that's all you're doing, then you're a salesperson.
Right.
But do more than that, because you're offering a service. You're offering warranty work.
Right.
You're offering added value, business relationship. So start to define yourself. If you are a salesperson, start to define yourself as a consultant rather than a salesperson.
Right.
Because you're really doing a whole lot more. At least you should be.
And no one wants salesperson on their business card.
Yeah.
They want business
Well, I mean, salespeople have gotten salespeople have gotten a bad rap through the movie industry.
Oh yeah.
You know, through car salesmen, and shoe salesmen, and all these different things where they paint this picture where, they're hard to deal with.
Right.
So that's kind of unfortunate, but you find yourself as a consultant because you really should be doing a lot more than just selling something.
Exactly. Yeah, you should be consulting them through the whole process.
Yes.
And I think that's, again, that kind of circles back to what we do. It's just our agent family, our realtor family is just always circling back with us. Like, can you connect me with such and such person? And usually we know those people, so we can connect them with whoever they need. I was going to give Yaneth a compliment real quick. Saturday, when we were hanging out, Sunday, my other girlfriend called me and she said, I've never met her before, but I feel like she's stealing you from me. And I was like, no, my friend Angie. And Angie said, she is such a great compliment to you, Kim. Is what Angie's my best friend since we were in school. And they met this weekend, and Angie complimented you and said that Yaneth is such a compliments me. So, it's great to have a friend that's in business together, but, we started off kind of as, we knew of each other, but we started off meeting up and kind of building that trust relationship and how can we partner together, and then now it's blossomed to this.
Well, it's just a team effort.
Yeah.
And I talk about, a lot of times we always try to do things by ourselves when we really have to do it as a team.
Yeah.
It's always a team effort.
It takes a team to make the dream work.
Yes, that's true. Well, thank you. She was a pleasure to meet.
Yeah.
So thanks, Angie.
Yeah. But we talked about your background, your chemical engineering. I have a few notes here. But besides this great book that you said it took you 3 years to kind of put it together.
3 years,
Lots of notes on napkins, getting all the thoughts that you said, kind of put it together.
Yes.
And I think that's when you said that, putting notes. I always carry like a journal or some paper in my bag because an idea will pop up and I'll remember it, and I don't. I always forget. Like, dang, that was I should have remembered that, or how come I didn't jot it down or write it on my hand? But what made you want to write the book?
We talked a little earlier about that, just to give back.
Just to give
for
back
me,
to
it's all about giving back and helping people. This book really is for anybody who's just starting out in life, right? Just out of college or that's young, mid-level managers, and even senior level managers, just to get back to the basics, right? A lot of times you have to reset, get just back to the basics of how to do things. And that's really the purpose of really why I wrote it, was just to kind of get back. Also, sometimes I'll speak to alternative high school kids, maybe going through struggles and issues. Try to help them understand. In the book, I talk about how I originally went to college and failed out of college and got suspended and put on probation. And then I didn't have a way in life and where I was going to go. And eventually I figured it out on my own that I wanted to go back and be successful, and went back, became college president, Dean's List, Who's Who,
and I
all those
appreciate your
things.
honesty in that. In the beginning of the book, it was like,
Well,
this
it's about
is a real
inspiring
guy.
other people that who may have gone through or are going through the same things that I've been going through, and so I want to be able to share that, and just talk about how I became what I believe successful in all the things that I eventually decided to tackle, the challenges I want to face, and how I won. Yeah.
Well, I think, like you said, it's important to share that because oftentimes what we're bombarded, like we said, with social media and everything else, but you'll only see the beautiful, polished picture.
Right.
So you only see like this wonderful cover, but you really need to take time to understand that we all have challenges. We've all gone through disappointments, failures, but we don't maybe talk about it all the time. But that doesn't mean we haven't experienced it. And the number one thing that I always was told is you just get back up and you keep trying, and you assess what you did to not make that same mistake.
Right.
So that's what your book is about, really. Common sense. How do you overcome?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I wasn't really high school. I was just an average student. I wasn't really preparing for college. And so when I eventually went back. For me, it was a struggle because I had to spend 3-4 times longer than everybody else to relearn algebra, geometry. Never even took calculus in high school, and here I had to take all of this. So for me, I really had to find my grit and my passion to really graduate chemical engineering, and it was very tough for me. So I just had to, you know.
You definitely need grit for chemical
engineering.
engineering.
And I, you know, and I did. And so it was not easy, but you know.
What is your favorite rule?
Okay, so rule number 1. So
Which
there's
I
kind of,
have right here.
So it's kind of the 3 pillars. One of the things I tell people all the time is number 1 thing that you have to do first in life is to sell yourself.
Yeah.
And then you sell what I call an amazing best-in-class service, and then you sell your product. You know, so 90% of the products out there, or whatever percentage of it is, they're all the same. There's so much competition that if I try to sell my product against yours and they're the same, the client's gonna know. So really, you got to learn to sell yourself first, because people learn to business with people that they love and that they like, and then you have to provide an amazing, best-in-class service that's better than everybody else's. Those are easy differentiators. That's just you being you, right? Building the relationships, being personal, adding value, going above and beyond, doing all the things that you need to do to help your client grow their business, improve profitability, right? And so those are the 3 things that I really love to tell people. Learn to sell yourself first. And I'll tell people all the time, for everybody out there that's listening, is it's okay to read sales books and sales techniques, but don't use them verbatim. Because people will see it and they understand. Just be you. I always say, just be you. Just believe and sell from the heart. And just try to do the right thing and build a relationship. Because when you build a relationship, you get very comfortable with your client, and then it's very easy to talk with them.
You know, last year, I was doing a presentation for some agents out in Pearland, and I got out, who wants to go first kind of thing, and I said, I'll go first. Let me go ahead and say my spill and get it over with. And then so I was speaking in front of these KW agents in Pearland, and then the next lady after me, or a few other people went, and then another rep from the same business that I'm in, I went and spoke, and I kid you not, I feel like she copied everything I said verbatim, like my 5 points of difference, right? Then became her 5 points of difference. And
not a good thing.
So yeah, that's not good. You know, I don't want to be. That's why I always go first, because I don't. Because what I believe in my company and what our differences are is, you know, you should have those and have those memories. But like you said, when I meet with a new agent to have lunch or something, sometimes we get around to the business part of it at the very end of our lunch, because we're getting to know each other. We're romancing each other. We're, you know, so you can get to that point where they trust you, and then they'll eventually do business. Yeah.
So it's all about building the trust, and then never letting the trust waver. Is what I say. So I have a rule about that, about how to build trust and how important it is. You know, and to be honest with your clients. You know, and when things aren't going well, you know, a lot of times when things aren't going well with your clients, you don't tell them. I always did it the opposite. When something's starting to happen, I automatically say, listen, one of the things I'm going to do, this is what's going on, I have it under control. I always say, go back to work and do what you got to do, and I'll fix it. And I would fix it. You know, you have to still have to win. You have to make it right. But I would always tell them what was going on, because if they find out about it in a roundabout way from somebody else, then you're in big time trouble.
Well, I think, and I believe, I mean, I love Don Miguel and his, 4 agreements. But one that always sticks out that I know you talk about as well is set expectations. You know, whether it's good, whether it's bad. And believe me, I don't like giving bad news, but sometimes I do. And you know what's interesting is that I have encountered people that maybe are not used to getting bad news sometimes, and prefer maybe to stay in the dark, and they don't know how to handle that sometimes.
Would that be some of our realtor partners?
Well, yes.
We love you guys.
We still love you. But here's the thing. I love to just let you know what's going on. And I will take care of whatever it is that needs to happen, because I also see opportunities. I don't see problems. I need to know, like, okay, that's what's happening. Let me figure out how to fix it. Don't worry. I'm going to take care of it. But here's what's going on. And I will be honest and say, okay, I don't know this answer, but let me figure it out. But it's about that, setting expectations.
Exactly. So 2 rules in the book that you just kind of mentioned. One is always say, let your clients know that you'll be there until the end to fix the problem, right? And so that's what I would always make sure that they understood, and that I'm going to take care of it.
Right.
You know? And so that's what we're really trying to do.
I like rule number 32. Remember, guys, there's 101 rules, so you can read a new rule every day.
Send us your favorite
apply
one.
This is like, I love this.
To
This is one of the things that I think
This will separate you
that's the
from the
easiest
rest.
differentiator there is.
So be fast in everything you do. It will separate you from your competition and your peers. And that is so true. I got to a point where I was answering realtor phone calls. I mean, up to 11 o'clock at night. And then I had to readjust my life for a minute and be like, okay, now we gotta have a 9 o'clock p.m. Shut off time.
Right.
But a text message or a
Answer
message
right
will
away.
connect. Answer right away. Even if you can't, like you said in the book, you said if you can't, at least acknowledge.
Just
right?
say, I received it and I'll get back to you.
Yes,
Right.
That's
at
what I
least
always say.
acknowledge that the call or the text has come through, and then get back to them.
So one of the things, when I got into consulting, I hadn't been in sales like as an engineer before, and so when I took over this area of the Northeast, I asked my boss. I said, "Well, what is the one thing that I need to do to be successful?" He said, "The only thing that you need to do in this job is answer your phone every time it rings."
Yeah.
And so I
That's true.
literally
It's
took
so
that to heart. So, I'm showering, the phone's outside the shower. In bed, the phone is right there. If you're at dinner and if somebody calls, excuse me, I got to get up and take the call.
Yeah, excuse
And so I was
yourself.
fast in everything that I did. And so my clients knew. And so
Byron would answer.
there's a
his phone.
story in the book where one of the oil and gas traders was in New York City. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was here in Houston.
Oh, I read that part.
And
Yeah.
he said, "I'll bet you right now if I send Byron a text message, it lands within
Right.
3 minutes. You bet him $100.
Yep.
And he sent it, and they got
And you
$100.
answer.
Wow.
Yep.
And so I became known for that
Right.
in the industry. Is
Right.
Byron will always be there and always answer his phone. Because in the business that we were in is very critical. In this particular business, that you were able to respond immediately because
Right.
issues were happening.
Right. Well, it's similar to our business.
Yeah.
Well, different in a way, but for instance, for me, when a client calls me and they want to know if they can get pre-qualified or not, because they're out there shopping for a house, they want to know, can I look at this house or not? And then the realtor depends on me telling them, yes, absolutely, continue showing, 20 houses, or no,
Right.
let's wait. So it is important, and I do agree with you, even if it's a text back saying, I will call you back.
Yeah.
And, it's so important to be able to communicate with your
Okay. I want to ask you, well, rule 53, be sincere in all you do.
Yeah.
Well, that should just be like a life rule in general. And if you're not sincere, then you're probably not in the business you are in. It shouldn't be in the business that you're in.
Well, I think a
It's
lot of
like
people do
passion.
things exactly, but they're
Right.
not necessarily sincere.
Right,
They're just
that's
going
true.
through the motions.
Just
going
going through the
routine.
motions,
So I
doing
try to, it's all about that passion. I try to tell people just be sincere in everything that you do.
Right.
And again, it's the passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's lacking, then.
Yeah. You said
and-
something about, excuse me, one thing,
go
you
ahead.
said something about setting expectations.
Yes.
So one of the things I want to say is even with your clients, you should set your expectations. We would always have
Yeah.
with our clients a state of the business meeting. So you set what if you don't set the expectations, then at the end of the day, at the end of the year, or at the end of 6 months where you're getting evaluated,
Right.
if you don't have expectations set, then how do you know if you're doing a good job, or how do they know if you're
Right.
doing a good job?
Right.
And a lot of times you take on a job role, but you don't set the expectations.
That's true.
And so everybody's, it's kind of murky as to if you're winning or not. But it's also very important to set expectations with your boss. So I always tell people all the time, set expectations with your own boss. A lot of
Yeah.
times you get a review, but there's no expectations set. Set those
Right.
expectations so that you can achieve those expectations, then also exceed those expectations,
That's
and then you'll get that promotion, you'll get that raise. And
Right.
so, then a lot of times people just don't do that. It just depends on the company you're with. Some of the companies that I work for, they did that.
Right.
And so, but some companies, if they're smaller companies, or they just don't do that. So force your boss to set those expectations.
Initiate that conversation
Yes.
because it benefits you in the long run.
Absolutely.
But going back to the expectation part, I think absolutely it is a key thing that you should be doing in business life, whatever it is. But for me, it's because everybody has such a different personality. The way I take in information is different than the way you take it in. So if I'm working with my realtor partners, for instance, there might be one that doesn't want to be bothered about what's going on with the process and just tell me when we have a yes, when do we close.
Right.
Where others want like a daily reminder. Clients are the same. So you
Exactly.
you think you're doing a great job because you're letting them know what's going on according to how you see it going.
That's exactly
But if
right.
the client wants you to call them on a weekly basis and you call them, twice a week
I
or whatever.
talk about that. That
all
comes right out of the
so
book. That's
important.
exactly what I was saying. What are your expectations? What do you want from me? Do you want daily? Do you want weekly? Do you want it in the form of email, text, phone call? What is that?
Right.
So you're right.
It's so important.
And you'll get to know
your client.
your clients or partners that
Right.
you're working with, how they prefer communication.
Right.
Some prefer text, some prefer a call, and you just you ask them.
Yeah.
I'm probably
Ask
bad about
them.
that because I will text. Actually, I received a text from a lady on Saturday morning that said, "Thank you so much for taking me to lunch this week. If you're ever out, in the spring area again, let's meet up." And it would us getting together was. Text can also, I'm going to tell the story real quick, because text can also be taken wrong.
Right.
So
Be careful.
I was trying to move the appointment up by 30 minutes because I became available, and then she said, no, 1 o'clock is still fine for me, and I said, okay, no worries. Like, my comment back was no worries, but her reply back to me was, well, why should it be a worry? And I was kind of taken aback, like, oh God, that's not how I meant it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'll be there at 12:30. I'll be there at
Yeah.
1. I'll wait for you.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to be there sooner.
Right.
If you are available, come sooner. But I was also dealing with,
So next time, put a smile face on it.
yeah, I sent her hearts, and I was like, no, it's good. And then we wound up meeting and having a great lunch and smoothed over any sort of, my text, her taking it differently.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like the no worries, no problem.
Right.
How easy is that to reply back? Like, oh no, I can't meet you today, for lunch. Okay, no problem. Well, why would it be a problem anyway? Some people do that.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't think that way.
It may be the movie
know?
you're in, so you're right. 100%.
Well, that's true.
So, but she sent, so we had a great lunch, and then she sent me a follow-up text on Saturday, just again thanking me for lunch and saying, hey, let's just hang out, And so I was so nervous driving to the appointment. I thought, oh my God, maybe I should just cancel it altogether because she misunderstood the way I was texting her. But it wound up being okay. So,
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Read it completely wrong. Read an email completely wrong.
Yeah.
And after I had time to digest it and think about it, then I understood. I read it in a different way.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be really careful with it.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
do.
And
Yeah,
that's
you
why
do.
they
And that's a
say-
really good lesson. So,
I have my own
sometimes do a little
texting
extra.
lesson.
than
Yeah,
just no
texting your
worries.
own TikTok. But that's why they say whenever you are writing an email, let's say you're heated about something,
Yeah.
you should reread it multiple times.
Step away.
And
Write
step
it,
away
30
and then
minutes
delete
out,
it.
absolutely.
Exactly.
I've done that. I've written out a text and been like, it's not even worth the fight. And I've just gone back and deleted it.
Sometimes you just gotta vent, like
Yeah.
just your own, written. I know for you as an author, writing is just so therapeutic,
Yeah.
and I think that's the reason why I jot things on my journal too, because we're able to just let it out, and then you're done. It's good. So do we
let's-
want to say hi to?
Yeah, there's lots of
we
people
have not
watching
said
and-
hello to everyone that's joined us.
Kathy
Thank
joined.
you so much
Thank
for
you
joining.
for joining. Anna, Marta, Hector, Liz, Seth, Alita,
Hi guys.
Randall Chestnut. Do you know Randall?
Hey Randall, how
No.
are you?
Okay, we're going to introduce you to Randall.
Yes.
Randall, if you're still watching, we will connect you to.
You need to have him on your show.
He
Randall.
does. He wants to have Byron on
Okay,
your Think
wonderful.
Like a Marketer show.
Great. Love to.
So yeah, Randall has
you
been
would
a great connection for us as well
Right.
for our show, and has helped us quite a bit. Jasmine says hello.
Hey,
Gloria is
Jasmine.
watching.
Hi.
One of the things we might be able to do one day, it might be really cool for the show if we do it.
Sure.
There's some people who might be reading the book. We can have a little roundtable discussion about some of the rules that they might
Oh,
have,
yeah.
and discussions
That's a
like
great
that.
idea.
Yeah.
I've thought about doing that with this, but I haven't gotten around to that. Maybe something we
This,
could
okay,
do.
if you guys, as your agents and brokers, if you're watching, I have extra copies of his
Right.
book, and I've dropped them off with a few of our
And I've got
brokers.
some here I'm going to leave some for you
Okay,
too, so
okay.
you can
Yeah,
send some out to
let's
some of the readers.
meet up, have lunch or coffee, and we'll be glad to give you guys a copy of the book. But Twan joined, Jonathan.
Hey, Twan.
Jonathan's so sweet. Him and his family came out this weekend, and I just
Oh,
love his
that's so
baby.
nice.
I want to call it my grandbaby, even though I don't have any grandbabies yet. I don't even want to ever give myself that title anytime soon. Grandmother.
Kids that are watching.
Yeah. My kids that are
Message to
watching.
your kids.
But long story short, he has the cutest baby, and I just love his baby.
That's very
And
nice.
Twan is watching. Mary is
Twan.
watching.
Mary.
Dallas, Alicia.
Hey, Alicia. It was great to
So-
see you. I know you were so jet lagged from your trip to Vietnam, but it was wonderful seeing you this weekend.
My friend Alita,
I can't see. I don't know.
Yancy and Garcia.
This is what I have to
And so,
But
lots
thank
of
you
people
everyone
watching.
for watching. We appreciate it.
So there's this commercial out now where there's this couple out at a restaurant, and they get the menu, and the husband's turning on his light on his phone. This is great marketing, and it's for glasses. The husband turns on his cell phone light, and he's looking at the menu, and then the waiter comes and says, "Are you guys ready to order?" And the wife is like, "We left our readers at home." And so he brings back these huge menus for, and that's me now. Like, I
that's
can't
so
read.
cool.
I'm like, I have
What is
readers
that?
everywhere.
I have
I
to
know,
have
I
it. If
guess
I
I
leave
have, so
without them,
yeah.
I got to turn around and go back.
Yeah, that's when you need, like, you gotta go to Marshall's,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
20 pairs.
I guess
Yes.
I need to just get some already.
Yeah, but real quick, I know we talked a lot about the book, but also you are an architect. You do architectural design.
Architecture, design, and interiors, yeah.
Yeah.
So we do build new homes. We do remodels, kitchen,
So
baths,
this is very
additions.
important for our real estate community
Absolutely.
to know Byron not only as an amazing author, but the services that he can provide to you guys for
Yeah,
your.
so we do virtual 3D reality design. So a lot of
Wow.
times if you're trying to sell a home that might be outdated, right? One of the things that we can do is we can go in and do virtual reality 3D design, actually do the goggles. So if we do like an open house, we can show potential buyers
Right.
what the home could look like
That's
versus what it
amazing.
currently looks like.
Right.
And so the seller would pay for that service, then the buyer would get credited and we would finish the design for them. So that's something that we work with realtors on to sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've
And
been watching some of your renderings, so that's
I
Yeah.
love that. I'll have to follow.
So we really get the client really involved, and we call it's really called empowering the client to get what they want. And so we do everything in 3D design, but we do, like I said, we're building a brand new home right here in the River Oaks area, very contemporary style home.
Okay.
We do a lot of kitchen remodels, opening up spaces a lot now, like
Yeah.
bathroom remodels, and then additions, home additions, second story additions, things like that. And then also with that, we can do the interior. So it's a full turnkey design build process.
Okay.
And so we've helped them with the selections, the countertops, everything.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
really neat. You're going to come out and speak soon with me and some agents, hopefully in a couple weeks. I know we have it on the calendar. I need to look up the dates. But he's going to come out and talk to us. So, again, if you guys,
Right.
agents or brokers, want to have Byron come to your office and speak, I'll be glad to make the connection and we'll get him out there.
Let us know when we can do an event together and bring out like lunch or something.
Yeah,
and take
because it's not only
somebody
about the book, it's about
Right.
this also amazing architectural design that you have to offer, which is, you know,
Right.
in and of itself amazing and great and a benefit to the agents and clients.
Yeah.
to
So
know about it.
Interior U,
Yeah.
Interior, and then YOU, interiorU.com is the name of my business.
Okay.
So if you just go there, you can go in and see everything that we do, the 3D
Interior U,
actual work.
YOU.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put the link on
Yeah,
your
I'll do it right
on
now,
our
actually.
message, so that people will see where they can go online and look up more information and take a look at that as well. I work with a lot of construction. I do a lot of construction lending, so you're right. It is all about getting your house the way you want it to look.
Right.
So taking a property that you maybe have some sentimental value because of where it sits in a particular location, and then just updating it. I mean,
Yes.
it's so much. There's so many beautiful projects going
Yeah.
on.
Absolutely.
I'm always
Yeah.
impressed. But
So
we,
what's your schedule the next?
Yes.
Do you have anything that you want to share? Any upcoming events? Any place that you're speaking at? You also do a little show, don't you?
Well, we do a show on 700 KCV. One of the things we didn't talk about is human capital investment. So one of the things that we have a segment that I do on 700 KCV once or twice a month with Richard Rosso, and
Oh, I
it's on
like
Clarity
Richard.
Financial. And so
Yeah.
we talk about it's a human capital investment. It's called Return on You.
Okay.
And one of the things that we say is the greatest investment that you can make in your life is in yourself. It's not in homes
That's
or
true.
stocks or even necessarily retirement, because the average person with a degree makes $2.5 million over their lifetime versus the average person right now has $300,000 in their retirement.
Right.
So we really try to help people is to learn to invest in themselves, to improve themselves with respect to promotions, salary increases, things like
Okay.
that. And so that's one of the things that we do is we do that as well, so people can listen on that and get some of the tips that we do there, and also
Yeah,
write
right.
for the newsletter and things
And
like that.
Richard and I are friends on Facebook as well. He's a really neat guy. He's funny. I like his comments. He keeps me entertained
I
on
know he
Facebook.
does, right?
I should
but
tag
I think
him
that's
there
great
too.
that you are focusing on that, because a lot of people, focus on everything else that's going on around them,
Yeah.
and you really need to take care of yourself.
Yes.
to be able to take care of everything else.
To take care of everybody else, absolutely.
Yeah, so we go speak to businesses. It can be real estate, it can be anything. And also, like I was mentioning earlier, alternative, kids who might need some help or some inspiration, help them understand that they can make it just like I did. So anybody that has any connections like that or wants us to speak, we'll do that.
So a lot of people know that watch the show. I have a special place in my heart for DePelchin Children's Center, and they at one point had an time when they had a teen pregnancy center there. I don't think they have it anymore, but even just going and talking to girls and letting them know, like, this isn't the end of your life. You can still have a very successful life. Maybe we can do something out there with them.
Well, I like your idea about like a roundtable discussion on the book. So I think what I'm going to propose now is just we can do the Caffeinated Book Club, and maybe you can be our first book that we can tackle together.
Yeah.
So any agents out there or anybody that's watching us or people that are just interested on really investing in yourself and gaining more skills to make yourself be a better person.
Right.
Let us know if you want to join us, and we're going to be talking about the book.
Yes,
We had
So I just decided the Caffeinated Book Club.
the Caffeinated Book Club.
Let's make it happen, right?
Yeah, we'll do it between you and I.
Absolutely. So let us know.
We also had Sharon Lee Zapata on a few weeks
We
ago,
did.
and she also wrote a book about entrepreneur, a quick, easy read about entrepreneurship.
Small business
Yeah.
owners.
So
So we have a lot of great people in the local, just here in the Houston area. Obviously, you know how we feel about the Houston area. We're passionate about really bringing you people that make a difference in our communities. So if you know anybody else that you would like to see on the show, let us know. Next week we are going to have someone that has been just wonderful to my family. He's done such great things with my mom and my dad. So he is a public adjuster, and Dominic will be here next week, and he's going to talk to us about how do you communicate well with insurance companies to maximize your returns. So that would be a really interesting.
It's all about
Communication. It is all about that. So he's a really great guy too. So what else?
Next Monday we have the adjuster on, so
Dominic.
be sure to watch. And you can stay here.
We have one more announcement.
Tell our assistant to stay nearby. Not to leave. Also, a few other upcoming events is August 16th, Williams Women's Council of Realtors will have Jim McInbell speaking, so be sure to get your ticket now and join us at the Junior League to come and see Jim Mack, which is our Houston hero, speak. Also have a class at my office that I'll be posting soon. Bradford & Company is coming to speak about tax strategies. And then Yaneth and I are doing a class again at my office called Elevate My Scores, which is another class to help our agents get their homeowners into homes and elevate their scores. And our big announcement.
Well, before we do the big announcement, we want to remind everyone that today's the last day for voting.
That's a big announcement.
For the board of, for board members.
Board of directors for HAR. Yeah. So today's the last day to vote.
And you voted already, and we had Alan Hernandez here last week.
Right.
So go out there and take a look at everyone that's running and vote for these people because they do represent you. I am not a realtor, so I'm not able to go and vote, but I encourage you all to do that.
So out of 30-something thousand agents, we were told last week that like maybe 2,000 votes.
Wow.
And so I know it's a little political thing here, but like if people want to see change in the real estate community, they do need to vote for the people they want in office.
Right. This is local, by the way.
Yeah, this is local for the Houston Association of Realtors. If you're an agent, you would have received an email called the Big Pulse. Is what the email. It's very simple. Click on there, go down, pick the people that you believe in, and submit before 5 p.m. today. That's my spill.
Yay. Okay, so now for drum roll, big announcement. Yay! We have selected a location to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, which you will be invited. So jot it down on your calendar. So we will be celebrating on September the 26th. Wednesday, September 26th from I guess we're starting about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
We wanted to allow you some time to get out of work and come join us. And we are going to be at
Concrete Cowboy
on
Washington. So we're excited.
Very excited.
I need all of you guys to come and help us fill the space.
Absolutely. It is a private private event. I mean, it's going to be closed just for us.
Yeah.
So we really want to invite everyone that watches us, anyone in the real estate community, and come out and have
All of
fun
our
with
partners,
us. And
friends.
of course, our guests that have been on the show since we started will also hopefully be there, as everyone is invited. So
Yeah. We will be sending out the formal, now that we secured our location.
Right.
But we'll have a DJ, we're going to have food,
Yes.
drinks, so please come out and join us. I know school will be back in session by then, but
if I can make it, you can make it.
this is true. She's got a very little
I have a 3 and a 10-year-old, so you can do it.
Yeah, come out and join us. We're excited to be celebrating 1 year
Yay.
of doing this fun show. And every week,
Yeah.
52 or 50 guests.
Yeah.
So,
But we look forward to you guys having a wonderful and productive week. Thank you so much,
Very
Byron,
welcome.
for
Thanks
being
for having
here.
me.
It's
I
been such
enjoyed
a
it.
great
It was very nice.
conversation.
Absolutely.
So
thank you for
anything else?
joining us. And until next Monday,
Stay
stay
caffeinated.
caffeinated.
A little further down.
We're saying bye. I'll do it. Bye, guys.